Hey friends, welcome back to the Aligned Strength Podcast. I'm your host, Mandy Scow. Here's a quick thought. What if you could protect your peace and protect your energy with one little adjustment? Before we get into that, there's a couple housekeeping items. One, Clean Simple Eats. Clean Simple Eats has a wide range of different proteins, greens, clear proteins, proteins that you would make normal protein shakes in, almond butter, protein almond butter. They have a whole website of amazing products. There is a link in the show notes below. If you click on that link and you order through that link, you will receive 10% off at checkout. So, that is the protein, and we order and use many products from them. Amazing. So Clean Simple Eats, check that out. And then also, starting in a couple weeks, Monday, September 22nd, we kick off another 5-week Aligned Strength virtual group program. This is a program in a private group. There is workout videos weekly that are posted that you do throughout the week on the days that work out best for you. There is nutritional tips. There is stretching tips and stretching videos for you to follow along with too on those days that you're not doing strength workouts. So that program is starting September 22nd, a 5-week program. That link is also in the show notes below too. Click on that link for more information about it and to hold your spot if you would like. So we're going to go back to that thought, which was, what if you could protect your peace and protect your energy with one little adjustment? That's what we're talking about today. And we are talking about something that can feel tricky. It can feel uncomfortable and sometimes even a little guilt-inducing. But it's also one of the most powerful tools for protecting your peace, and that is one word that I'm talking about, which is called boundaries. So we're going to cover boundaries today with family, friends, and even your kids as they grow older. I'll share the pros and cons, tips for setting them, and how to know when it's time to draw the line. By the end, you'll have a simple weekly goal to put into action. So let's jump in. Why are boundaries and what are boundaries, What are boundaries and why do they matter? Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what's okay and what's not okay for you mentally, emotionally, and physically. They're not walls to keep people out, but more like a fence with a gate. You choose what comes in and what stays out. Without them, you risk feeling drained, resentful, or taken advantage of. With them, you create healthier, more respectful relationships, starting with the one you have with yourself. The first one we're going to go over and talk about is boundaries with your kids as they grow. So this is me and my husband right now. We have a, soon to be 14-year-old, and we have a 16-year-old. So as they are growing, we're working on the boundaries, with them too. So as parents, it's easy to feel torn between guiding our kids and giving them independence. That's why boundaries are so important. They not only protect your peace, but also teach your children responsibility, respect, and balance. Let's look at a few real-life examples. So, examples of boundaries with our growing kids. Number 1, privacy and personal space. Here's an example. Your teenager barges into your room without knocking. Your boundary that you can put up and say is, I need my privacy too. Please knock before coming in, and I'll do the same for you. So the past couple years, I've been always knocking on their doors, before entering their room. So giving them their privacy, but then at the same time, they need to give it to you too. So, letting them know, I need my privacy too as a parent. Number 2, respect your time. Here's an example. Your child expects you to drop everything when they want something. The boundary that you can use and to say to them, I'll help you after I finish this call. Your needs are important, but so is my work time. Number 3, household responsibilities. Here's an example. An older child refuses to do chores, leaving everything for you. Your boundary and what you can say to your child is, everyone in this house contributes. Your chores need to be done before screen time. You need to do your chores before you go on your phone. You need to do your chores. You need to contribute before you play your PlayStation. So, number 4, emotional dumping without respect. Here's an example. A teen unfolds frustrations but lashes out disrespectfully. Here's the boundary that you can use and say to your child. I want to hear how you're feeling, but we need to talk respectfully. Let's take a deep breath and try again in a few minutes. Number 5, technology and social media use. Here's an example. A child pushes back against phone or gaming limits. Here is your boundary and what you can say to them. Your screen time ends at 9 p.m. It's not a punishment. It's about balance and health. So things to watch for are feeling like you have no personal time, or they're not learning respect for others' limits. So with all of these, with your growing kids, just some things to look for when you might need to be setting up boundaries. The things to look for are if you're feeling like you have no personal time, or they're not learning respect for other people's limits. Okay, so next one is boundaries with family members. So family is often where boundaries feel the most complicated because we've known them the longest and the expectations can run deep. Because family ties are so strong, boundaries here can show up in many different ways, from how much time we spend together to level of advice or involvement they have in our lives. Let's walk through a few common examples you might recognize. Number 1, the holiday guilt trip. Here's an example. A relative pressures you to attend every holiday or family gathering, even when it disrupts your plans. Here is the boundary and what you can use or what you can say by setting your boundary. You can say, we love spending time together, but we'll be celebrating at home this year. Let's plan a smaller get-together another time. Number 2, oversharing or unwanted advice. An example would be a parent or in-law constantly gives unsolicited parenting, relationship, or life advice. The boundary. Here's what you can say in this situation. I appreciate your concern, but I'm not looking for advice right now. Number 3, financial expectations. Here's an example. A family member repeatedly asks for money or expects you to cover costs without discussing it. The boundary. What you can say is, I'm not able to lend money, but I can help you brainstorm some options. Number 4, disrespecting your schedule. An example would be a sibling calls you at work or late at night expecting you to drop everything. The boundary and what you can say to this: I can't answer calls during work hours, but I'll get back to you after 6 p.m. So in all of these situations or any other times, what you need to look for with family members and when to set up a boundary is when you're feeling drained, you're dreading phone calls, or sensing resentment. Those are signs your boundary is being crossed. All right, moving on to boundaries with friends. Friendship boundaries are about balancing closeness with self-respect. Sometimes friendships can blur the lines because we want to be supportive and available, but without boundaries. They can become draining instead of uplifting. Here are a few situations where setting healthy limits can make your friendships stronger and more balanced. Number 1, the constant last-minute planner. Here's an example. A friend texts you 15 minutes before wanting to hang out, expecting you to drop everything. Your boundary and what you can say is, I need a little more notice to make plans. Let's set something up for later this week. Number 2, the emotional dumper. An example of this would be, they call only when they need to vent, but never check in on you. Here's the boundary and what you can say. I want to be here for you, but I can't take on heavy stuff right now. Can we talk about something later today? Number 3, the friend who borrows and never returns. An example, the friend that borrows clothes, books, or gear and doesn't return them for months or ever. The boundary and what you can say. I'm not lending things out right now, but I'm happy to help you find one to buy or rent. Number 4, the chronic negativity. An example, they constantly complain about everything and everyone, leaving you feeling drained. The boundary that you can set and what you can say is, I value our time together, but I'd love to focus on more positive conversations today. Number 5, the friend who crosses privacy lines. Here's an example. That friend shares personal details about you with others without asking. Your boundary that you can set up and what you can say is, I'd appreciate if you didn't share that. It was meant to stay between us. So things that you can look for when you need to set boundaries with friends. What you want to watch for is if you feel guilty saying no, or you start avoiding them altogether. So that's when you look for those things, feeling guilty saying no, or you start avoiding them, that means that you need to put a boundary up. All right, so pros and positivities of healthy boundaries. You protect your mental and emotional well-being. Your relationships become more honest and respectful. You have more energy for things, more energy for people, and the ones that matter the most. So much positivity with healthy boundaries. There are some possible cons or some pushbacks. So the cons would be if you start setting boundaries with people, family, friends, your kids, there are possible pushbacks. And that is, some people might not like the new you who says no. So if you're somebody that always says yes and you start saying no, some people might not like it that you're starting to say no. And I mean, that's just the way it is. You might feel guilt at first, especially if you're used to people pleasing. If you are a people pleaser and you start to set boundaries, you're definitely going to feel guilty at first, but then it will not take long and you will be proud of yourself and start to feel better. And then relationships may shift or even end, but the ones that remain will definitely be healthier. So, when to set a boundary? Here's a question to ask yourself. How do I feel after interacting with this person? So if you leave feeling drained, if you leave feeling anxious or resentful more often than not, that's your sign. That's your sign. It's time to set a boundary. The earlier you set a boundary, the easier it is to maintain. Don't wait until you're boiling over. Here is a step-by-step on how to set a boundary. Number 1, get clear on what's bothering you. Number 2, decide the change you need. Number 3, communicate it calmly and clearly. Number 4, hold the line without over-explaining. Number 5, repeat if needed. Consistency is key. Okay, so let me roll through that again step by step. Number 1, get clear on what's bothering you. Number 2, decide the change that you need. Number 3, communicate it calmly and clearly. Talking about your boundary with that person. Calmly, clearly. Number 4, hold the line without over-explaining. You do not need to explain yourself. Number 5, repeat if needed. Consistency is key. So the takeaway for today, boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about protecting your peace. If someone reacts negatively to your healthy boundary, it says more about them than it does about you. So here is a weekly goal for you to try. This week, I want you to identify one area where your energy is being drained. Decide what boundary could protect that peace. Communicate it calmly, clearly, and without apology. Now, this is for everyone listening. I would guarantee everyone that is hearing this and listening to this could identify one area in their life where their energy is being drained. For sure. So identify it, decide what boundary could protect your space, communicate it calmly, clearly, and without having to apologize. And remember, the first time you hold a boundary is the hardest. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And the more better you're going to feel, the more peace you're going to have. So keep that in mind. It gets easier. It definitely gets easier. All right, friends, that's your dose of the Aligned Strength podcast. Boundaries are an act of self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation for everything else in it. Protect your peace, protect your energy. Go ahead and share this episode with a friend who you feel could hear this. Everybody can get some tips from this episode. So please share. Please like the podcast. Leave a review. It helps us out so much. Send me if you have questions, and if you want any advice, I am open to, listening to what you got and trying to give you advice and help you work through certain boundaries if you're feeling anxious about setting a boundary or anything like that. Definitely reach out. Send me a message. I am here to help guide you. So again, protect your peace, protect your energy, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.